I waltzed my way from the Catskills, the Borscht Circuit. I waltzed my way into a tutu with Danilova. And then I'm walking down the street. And by that time, I'd been studying for a while, and very seriously. There was a show called Oklahoma, which, again, was a thing that changed the face of the American musical. Agnes Mill was the choreographer. But there was a young girl in it whose name was Bambi Lynn. And everyone thought, they would stop me on the street and say, "Oh, are you Bambi Lynn?" And I got so used to it, I said, "Yes." And I would sign Bambi Lynn's name on their program, or I would say, best wishes, Bambi Lynn. And many years later, Bambi Lynn and I were at the Met together, dancing together. I segued, thanks to Jerome Robbins, I segued after lying about being Bambi Lynn, and then I ended up with Jerry Robbins, who gave me my life in the theater. He really did. And also, in a way, he gave me my life in serious ballet, because it was through him, actually, that I ended up in the Ballet de Paris or dancing all over the world with different companies. When I auditioned, actually, the first time I met him was on an empty stage because the auditions were over. Oddly enough, the woman who choreographed Oklahoma chose me years later for a show called Allegro. And then they lined us all up. And I was 2 feet shorter than anybody else. And they said, thank you very much. And I was walking down Schubert Alley and saw these people leaving the Schubert Theater. And I said, what's going on? And they said, well, Robbins. I said, who's Robbins? And they said, well, he's doing this thing, High Button. And so I went in the stage door. And I said, who's Robbins? And this voice from the dark said, I'm Robbins. Who are you? I said, my name is Sondra, and I've just been fired from Allegro by Agnes de Mille, and I'm going home to commit suicide. I was too short. And he said, don't commit suicide. Dance for me. That was a familiar phrase, dance for me. And so I did. I danced with a vengeance. And he said to someone in the dark, put her in group A. No, put her in group B. No, put her in Amazons. Because I'd said I was fired because I was too short. This is in my book. And I don't know, I did something that made everybody applaud. All the people who were auditioning applauded. And I wasn't sure what it was. I know I did a double take on something. I think we did Bathing Beauty something or other. And then I saw Jerry Robbins arguing with this producer. And I could see they were talking about me, and I thought, I'm going to be a star. They're talking about my stardom or some stupid thing. And I got closer and closer, and I heard, I want the, no, I don't want the, I want the, I don't want the. And then I got closer and I heard, I don't want the kid. And then I heard, I want the kid with the fat legs. I was the kid with the fat legs. I don't think Jerry Robbins had any idea what he was going to do with me, but he fought for me. There were 11 girls and 10 boys. I was the 11th girl. And that's how I got into high button shoes. I was the 11th girl. I was the kid with the fat leg. And then, I don't know, things just took off from there. From high button, eventually I went to Peter Pan, and that was getting into bed with them. I became this year's dessert, much to my surprise, in Peter Pan. I'm sure that Jerome Robbins was crazy about me because he thought I was funny or reminded him of a part of his life as well. And he felt responsible in a way. I mean, he took me to sit in Koussevitzky's box with Madame Koussevitzky. I didn't know who the hell Koussevitzky was at that time. To hear Lenny Bernstein, conduct. Just amazing things like that. There are people who come into your life professionally, either as a fellow actor or a fellow dancer or a director or as a friend, a writer, a poet. And the French have a word for it. They have a ticket. In other words, your eyes can meet someone on the bus and you have a ticket. There's something that happens, and you either meet that person again or you work with that person